Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Like a New Yorker. It's Friday again. Time is really flying, guys. And of course, as usual, first of all, I want to thank you for liking and sharing our videos. And of course, remember to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications so you know when we are coming out with a new video. And as usually, I have my partner in crime for this show, Beatrice. Hi,
Hi,
Beatrice.
everybody. Hi, happy Friday. I'm Beatrice Kimmel from Impact PR, and we are so happy to have you guys join us on Like a New Yorker.
Absolutely. And from Living Magazine, Joseph, chief editor. Today we're going to have a very interesting and
Yes.
very fun episode. It's October. It's actually, Beatrice, my favorite month. I everything about October. I like it. We already talked about the pumpkin spice and the coziness. But what I like the most is the month that leads to Halloween. So it's the spooky month, is the
Yes. The
moonlight.
weather changes. It's
Yeah.
time to get cozy. And speaking of spooky, we
Hmm.
have some really interesting things to share with you that are not a lot of people probably know, but there's
Hmm.
these secret abandoned places in New York City that have a little bit of mystery. There's a lot of history behind them. So each
Hmm.
one has its own story. And they've been abandoned for so many years that they're pretty much dilapidated and deteriorated. But they still are either considered landmarks or still exist. And we're very happy to share them with you today. If you are a history buff or you just like really interesting, mysterious, spooky places to visit, or you're just interested in, cool, interesting things in New York, this is definitely something I think you'll really enjoy.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and put
Yeah.
the
Absolutely. So we're gonna start with the secret New York, as Beatrice was mentioning. Believe it or not, in a city that is dominated by city permits, right? And ordinances, and at the moment, we get to be regulated about how many bites you can have, wearing masks, whatever. We have
Mhm.
these places that are pretty wild. So let's go right away
So this
on.
is from Time Out New York,
Mhm.
which we love, magazine that tells us all the cool events that are happening in New York City. And this is 8 interesting, unique, abandoned places in New York City in different parts of the five boroughs. The
Mhm.
first one here is Renwick Smallpox Hospital. Now, we all are very familiar with infectious diseases, right? So
Mhm.
smallpox back in the
We
1800s
have heard something.
was right. Well, this was, we thought, is nothing compared. I mean, COVID is nothing compared to the smallpox. This killed 300 million people in the 20th century alone.
Mhm.
So this is back obviously before, all the modern day, conveniences and things like that. So
Yeah.
they just took these people with smallpox and shipped them off to an island. And this is basically what it was. This hospital off the southern tip of Roosevelt Island. And Roosevelt Island, as we know, is between Queens. It's in the East River, between Manhattan and Queens and Brooklyn. And it was constructed back in 1856 and wasn't abandoned until the 50s. And basically, it's been called registered as a national historic place and also a New York City landmark. But look at this. This place is like completely. I mean, it's without
Yeah.
a. I mean, all the. I mean, it's still. The thing is, it's just growing, overgrown, and they're keeping it strictly because of the historic value.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, there is one of my favorite movies that, again, I religiously watch every October is Session Number 9. One of the best psycho horror movies ever, because
Yeah.
it's set in this asylum where construction workers go, and then they find these cassettes of the interviews with these girl suffering of multi personalities. And I'm not gonna say anything else. This place looks exactly like the asylum where they went to, where they shot this movie. I already have the chills, and I think I'm gonna go see it.
Well, those movie buffs, yeah, horror movies, this is the time to watch it, right? We might
Hmm.
cover that in another episode, but
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Any kind of hospital where they ship people off is scary. And there's actually another one. We'll scroll down a little bit later.
Hmm. Yeah.
But the next one is this is the Grain. terminal, Red Hook Grain Terminal in Brooklyn. And this was actually built in the 20s during the Big Depression. But this was an expensive, it was just basically a really classy train terminal, kind of like Grand Central and Penn Station. But it was down in Brooklyn, and it was basically abandoned, I don't know, 40 or so years later. But it was just this really tall, I think it was old silos that they constructed it with, but they just, it was very underutilized, and they just kept it. And now it's just another dilapidated molding structure.
This is very,
just look at,
This is like very post-apocalyptic, right? Like Terminator kind of style. So
it totally does. It looks like, right. I mean, if you didn't see the sprawling, urban sites behind it, you would think this was a post-apocalyptic scene.
Yeah, it could easily be like in Ohio, right?
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, people still actually go into it, even though you're prohibited from it. But
cool.
Moving on. So we've got okay. So if anyone has driven to the LaGuardia Airport, you see these big metal structures, right? And I always pass by it. I'm like, what are those things?
Me too. I always wondered. Now I know.
So back in the 60s, they had what's called the World's Fair in Queens, and it was basically it was like a big expo where 80 different nations participated, and they had them in different countries around the world, and this was the one in the US. And they basically had these innovative exhibits. Disney introduced their new rides there. That was the first time they introduced the Belgian waffles. So it was really, really interesting. And they did it after 2 years. So it was
that is the occasion when they built the hemisphere, right? Like the big globe in Queens.
Yes, that still exists there too. That big metal globe with the the orbits and whatnot. So it's just been standing there since the 60s. And it really, the only thing it was for was the 2 years, they had the World's Fair, and it's just been abandoned ever since. So, but again, it's just a source of history.
Yeah.
So moving on. So this is another island where they had isolated patients of the smallpox disease, and this was built a little bit later. It opened in 1885 and was abandoned in the 60s. And this is west of Rikers Island. So this is another dilapidated building, and they're looking to knock this down and make this a public park. So
okay. So better go sooner than later, because they might flat it. So let's see. So then we have the Freedom Tunnel.
The Freedom Tunnel. So this is underneath Riverside Park in Harlem, and at 125th Street. It was built in the 30s and abandoned in 1980. And basically, it was just where freight trains ran through, and but it stopped being in use in the early 80s. But it became this underground. Sorry, my baby's crying.
It's okay. We are here, Coco.
Surprise guest, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, this was the site of an underground homeless society. It was basically an underground, like little small town, like a city, and they had their own laws and everything. And there was a whole, it was actually a book written in the 30s called "The Mole People," and that's what this was based on. On this society that was in this tunnel. But it's been since, obviously, I think they chained it off and forbid people to go there, but you can see a lot of graffiti in there. A lot of artists went down there, but I can imagine going down there. It'd be kind of a little spooky.
It might be, I might pass on this, yes, because what we have next, that is really cool.
Well, speaking of passing through, so this is something that if you've ever been on the 6 train, and this is actually literally right by my old office in Tribeca, City Hall subway station. It was this ornate, beautiful station that the 6 train stopped at, but it's an interesting design because it's curved. So if anyone is familiar with subways, it's hard to open up the doors because then you've got these gaps, right? If there's like a big curve, so they have to have that at Union Station where they have to have these movable platforms that meet the train. But in this case, they stopped using it in the 40s. It was built in 1904, and it still exists. The train still runs through it. They just don't have the train stop there.
Yeah. And of course, you might recognize these guys because this is where they shot the Ghostbusters 2 movies. When they go in the New York subway and they collect samples of the pink slime, that is where they shot it.
Oddly specific, Joseph, but thank you for that trivia. The pink slime.
It's so iconic that but I could have skipped that. But anyway, very iconic.
Yeah, you can certainly see the train. They recommend you sit in the 7th, 8th, or 9th car, which I don't get at all. What the difference is, but yeah, you can see the train station as you're passing through. Okay, so moving on. This is the tugboat graveyard. This is off the west shore of Staten Island, where Joseph is broadcasting from. So it's between Staten Island and New Jersey, and it's basically where metal ships went to die. They left these rusty old ships kind of there. I guess, I don't know. I mean, what do you do with rusty old ships? I mean, you just can't, I guess just sink them in the river.
Well, it's really something that related to boats, because of course, like, it's not like simply a car where you bring it to the demolition man and they just, crumble it. A ship needs to be decommissioned and there's actually, it's supposed to get dismantled, which is a very expensive process. So if the company that owns the boat goes bankrupt, then it becomes there are loopholes sometimes in the law, so nobody's going to pay for it and nobody wants to pay. The company's bankrupt and they just leave it there. And believe it or not, in New York City there is enough space that you can have like a ship graveyard.
Well, it's like a lot of abandoned buildings here in the city. I mean, case in point, we saw a couple of them where it's basically cost ineffective for them to get rid of it, so they just leave it there. So if you're into ships, you want to cut a good deal on some metal. There you go. And then finally, we come to Dead Horse Bay. Now, I had to look this up where this was. It's called in the Gateway National Recreation Area. This is actually off the southeast, like lower southeast corner of Brooklyn, right between the Rockaway
and the Grand like Broad Channel, that area.
Yeah, it's kind of like a channel that goes into from the ocean, and it was built in the 70s. It's basically that was the site where they had these horse rendering plants where they turned horses into glue and fertilizer. So not a good history there, especially if you're an animal rights person. But they just basically threw the remains of the horses in the water, and all of that stuff got washed up onto the shore. Years later. So it's not a good place to visit, but again, another.
But also here, I mean, so you were complaining about my pink slime, and
I'm just reading the article.
And now it's like, but Joseph, pink slime is gross. But it's like the pieces of dead horses. That's fine.
It's pink, which I like pink, but the thing is, that's the thing. It's like no one is going to pay to clean this place up. I mean, look at this. This is probably one of the less offensive pictures of it, but they've also found radiological contamination there.
So don't go.
You can't even walk in the area because you might get some radiology poisoning or something.
So better not. It's gross and radioactive. So I don't know what else we can say. Discourage you to go, but if you still want to go,
there you have it. There's other places to visit or not in New York City that you may not have known about.
Great. So absolutely. This is pretty cool, and hopefully we Joanne here, our aficionado.
Joanne, thanks for the shout out. She said, Joanne, who knew? Thanks for always keeping us informed. Absolutely, Joanne. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
So, all right, we move on to something more fun.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, because actually we were talking about that we are, of course, at home, and shopping is limited, and we are living on Amazon basically for everything we need. And so I was looking for again some good deals online, and I bumped into this really hilarious article. We're going to talk about now about the online shopping epic fails. I actually saw that I'm not alone. It's like I'm not the only one who ordered something and got something that was pretty different from the pictures that I saw online. So, and here I can show you guys that we have this article from Do's and Don'ts, where I can let me see. I can show you this one. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna compare Beatrice's expectations versus reality, and we start with this.
oh my gosh. So if anyone has shopped off of Instagram or anything online where you get these ads, pop-up ads all the time,
Yeah,
especially for clothing, it's always you have to really read the fine print or see what they're not saying. And
yeah,
you cannot go strictly by the picture. And this is a very good example of that. First of all, the color is not even the same. I don't know.
exactly.
Maybe she
Yeah,
ordered it. Maybe she deliberately ordered it in this kind of lime
yeah.
green or mint green.
Yeah, this is like yeah. What's the ice cream flavor? Is mint and chocolate, right? Something
Mint
like that.
chocolate chip,
Yeah,
maybe.
mint chocolate chip. Exactly.
And the skirt's like kind of a yellow tint to it, but
Yeah,
wow, this is supposed to be a wedding dress. It looks like,
yeah,
and first of all, it's very baggy. The sleeves are even shorter than her arms.
yeah.
So it's not at all proportioned, and it's yeah, it's
It's not
not at
good.
all flattering. It's just not good.
Not
Not good.
good. Not good. But it gets worse or better. Depends on the point of
Depending
view.
on how you look at it, right?
Exactly.
Um,
So this I love this because actually the two girls, they look like each other, but on the
right.
left you have the Greek goddess of beauty, and on the right the most disappointed face
Wah,
on earth.
wah. Well, first of all, I don't know if that inner kind of like inset bra came with it or not, but it looks like it should be connected, but
It
it's
should be
clearly not.
connected, I'm afraid. Yes. So
Or if she bought her, if that was her own, I don't know if that was sewn into it, but clearly it's not. It's definitely not this. I mean, it looks like they tried to do as far as the jeweling,
yeah.
the inset jewels, but yeah, clearly not the
Yeah.
same.
And this is not just like a good light and Photoshop. You know, it is
Yeah,
misleading. It is misleading. Let's
yeah,
put it away.
yeah. The black
This is
mamba.
another epic one.
Oh. Well, the thing is, obviously, they're putting it on these incredibly well-endowed models that
Yes.
don't, that don't reflect the average body type in this
Yeah.
country or the world.
That's the best way you can put it. Yeah.
That's the most, right, exactly. And I don't even see that. I thought this looks like it was a strapless dress, but it's clearly not. But
No.
it's yeah.
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 I mean, you can see that. I mean,
The
yeah,
quality is
there
not
is a resemblance, but the point is that,
and
of
it,
course,
and it's
you also should. I mean, we know how we look, right? So,
yeah. It's
as
definitely
body,
poor material, poor
yeah,
construction on
yeah,
this.
I would say
Yeah.
as body positive, we try to be. Also, you should be honest towards yourself. So maybe you can guess that you won't look the same. So,
Well, anything that's on a model that's,
yeah,
3 cup size larger than you are should probably not,
yeah.
try to go by
This
that.
is another good example. I mean,
Oh my
you're
God.
setting
Yeah.
yourself up to some disappointment here, but
Wow. I
yeah.
don't know. Is that supposed to be a real dress or a Halloween costume? It looks like.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a gala dress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
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 Terrible.
And red is a very challenging color. I mean, you can tell
Yeah.
me.
I mean, I've gotten
Red,
dresses off of Victoria's Secret before, and they're,
yeah.
they've actually, I would say 90% what I expected.
Now we're towards
Oh,
Halloween. Be careful, guys. You know,
well, here's an example where it's too
no,
tight. I mean,
yeah, it's
the
definitely too
size is
tight.
supposed to be, it looks like for a kid. I think this
Yeah.
is an adult, clearly. And he definitely got the wrong size. Now, this is the
Pajamas
opposite extreme.
also. Yeah, maybe double check the size. That's a
I
good
think
idea.
that's it. Yeah. I mean, wow. It's extra, extra large.
Yeah. This is another one like where probably you could have seen this coming.
Well, first of all, it was a bad. Oh, the dress itself is not good.
This is another one. Probably this is how these jeans look when he came out the factory, but then of course,
of course they folded it and everything. But the jeans aren't even jeans. I think it's like cotton slacks or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, this I get.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, this. I think we might have lost Beatrice. Probably. Let's see if she can reconnect. But yeah, so we were scrolling here. So this was her favorite. I like it a lot. This girl couldn't even figure out exactly how to put this dress on, as well as we have here another fail in fitting, and then we have the Christmas tree. Again, no fault here. If you look at it, there is little that they could do. So moving forward, then we have this one. This is completely different from the order. This is a tank top, and the guy got like a pretty tight dress, and then more Halloween costumes and latex stockings. Again, be careful what you wish for. And again, we have many other examples. So I think you got the point. When you order online, let's see.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So you
guys missed me. Sorry about that.
Well,
so my computer died.
Yeah. So I stopped here because we can show our epic fails, because this one is very similar to the one you got, right?
Yes.
Show us what you got.
So yeah. So there's a little bit of an echo here. I don't know what that is. Now you have reverb. There you go. So in light of that, we wanted to know something for a little girl. But can you hear me on an echo? It's a little bit.
Yeah, the audio is a little bit off, but it's okay. Can you show us the item that you?
So we wanted to get something to lay her head so it's a little bit raised and back, so she wouldn't get this flat head. Something we can baby get sleep. Instead, we got this. I don't know what to call this. It's a very flat to begin with. So this clearly wouldn't prevent the flat head. It would probably cause it. But it had this incredible graphic that showed how the head was protected and controlled in this cushioning circle. This is clearly too big, actually, for her head. Her head was maybe fixed right here, and it would just go right in that part. So, and then there was other thing. I don't know what this is for. I don't even know what that is.
I can't imagine anything. I can't imagine anything like more uncomfortable for a baby than something like that. But I think I have something that actually beats yours, because I show you the picture of how it was supposed to look. These blue neon that you could set the background of your YouTube station, and instead what I got let me is this it's a floss, basically. It's like I don't know exactly what, there is not even a plot, and when I try to turn this on, barely see it. So I mean, it's $9, but still, I could have bought like a couple of slices of pizza with
well, that's the thing. I think when you think it's a good deal, it's probably too good to be true. That's really good. Yeah. But I think it's about $40. So I think that really,
Okay, then yes, you guys could more, yeah.
yeah, yes, I did. But
Oh God. Well, anyway, guys, we do hope that you enjoyed this episode. Let us know if you want to see more of this. In the meanwhile, from Joseph, chief editor of Living Magazine, that's all for today.
yes, and Beatrice from empktpr. Thank you guys for joining us, and enjoy this beautiful weekend.
Have a good day, guys. Be safe and be well. Bye.
Bye bye.